The Plotaholics podcast is not meant to make light of those with an actual serious addiction. If you have an actual serious addiction, the Plotaholics podcast should not be used as a replacement for treatment. If you are not in a treatment program for substance abuse and you are somehow still offended, then fuck you too. Sincerely, your hosts.
God damn it, Bryan. Welcome to the first episode of the Plotaholics. I don't know how that sounded.
Well, we made it.
We've started anyway, so
yes,
you know we've
already begun.
Yep, and they say, Bryan, that the journey of 1,000 miles begins with one step, and
yeah, we've been tripping a lot, and
yeah.
It's not even our fault.
Yeah, man. I mean, honestly, who can you really blame? I mean, always someone else, but
yeah, always someone else. It's always someone else's fault.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're here. We'll see what happens. It's always a little bit of an adventure when the two of us get together. So we'll see what happens.
It truly is.
But anyway, so welcome everyone to the very first episode of the Plotaholics. I don't want to do a whole lot of like history and why we're here and all of that stuff, but I do think that we probably owe it to the people to talk a little bit about how we got here.
Yeah, we met on the Joshua Robertson show, Writer Imperfect, and the chemistry was just there. And we were shooting the breeze after our show went off the air. And it was just us. Everyone else had left. Josh had left. Everyone else had left. And we were still shooting the breeze for probably like a good 45 minutes to an hour. And then we both realized how much we love films, especially bad films and B films. It's not fair to call them bad, although I guess the B means bad too.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that a lot of the early going there when we were trying to decide what we wanted to do, because we knew almost immediately that we wanted to do a podcast about movies, and at first we thought we would only do bad movies, and we were going to originally call ourselves the Movie Trolls, and that's really how we got stuck on this film that we're starting with today, Troll 2. And honestly, I don't know that there's a better place to start than at the bottom.
You know what? You're absolutely right, because why not begin with the best of the worst? I mean, I don't even think the Mystery Science Theater 3000 guys or Riff Track guys, because it's almost like the same troupe, I don't even think they've done this film.
Yeah, and other than maybe just not being able to get the rights to it, I'm not sure why they haven't done it, honestly.
Well, I don't think the writer and director, husband and wife duo Claudio Fragasso and his wife Rosella Dre are probably gonna allow it, because because what's funny is you guys are kind of getting a twofer in this, because we're going to be referencing not only the film itself, but also the documentary done by one of the leads of the film, Michael Stevenson, who plays Joshua. We'll be making fun of him a lot.
Yeah. He
did, about 10 years ago, a documentary film called Best Worst Movie. So you guys are actually going to be getting kind of two for the price of one in this first episode.
I was thinking a lot about that Best Worst film, and how I think it almost gave, and this is, man, we're already starting to strike out pretty far from the center here, but
yeah, we are.
I think that it gave Greg Sestero kind of a blueprint for how to move past The Room, with the disaster artist and all of that, because it has that same kind of thesis behind it. But we'll get to all of that later.
We'll get to that.
More on that behind the scenes stuff in a bit. But I wanted to start by just a quick IMDb summary of this movie, which does not do it justice. A family vacationing in a small town discovers The entire town is inhabited by goblins in disguise as humans who plan to eat them.
Courtesy of Movie Dude 346 on there. Thanks, Movie Dude.
Honestly, there's a whole lot left out of that summary because what they don't tell you is that the goblins are vegetarians and that they have to use what looks like Nickelodeon gack to transform people into plants before they can eat them when they live in the middle of the forest and there are plenty of trees around them that they could just eat.
Yeah. Or better yet, it's not even like it's like we have to make them. Honestly, I swear, I think Rosella Drudy, I think she was doing some serious acid when she was writing this, because you have to be married to the director of the film and the guy who's bankrolling this. Like,
Right.
you've got to be giving him some serious nookies and like Good Morning BJ's to get this idea made.
Yeah.
Because they're forced to drink the Nickelodeon slime, and you turn into like a human plant hybrid. It's the only thing that they can eat, and that's basically the plan. Oh, and there are no trolls in this film. It is just goblins.
Right.
Remember that.
Yeah, I think we should probably just go ahead and address that elephant in the room.
Yes.
Which is the fact that not only is this called Troll 2, the tagline was "One was not enough." So they are billing
Yes, it
this thing
was.
as a sequel, and it is not a sequel.
There is zero connection between the two. Like, absolutely.
Yeah, a lot of people might remember, I don't know how many people actually would remember this, but Troll was essentially
I
like
do.
a family-friendly kid movie from the 80s.
In its own way, it had its 80s panache where you would think, like, parents would be like, oh, it's about a little troll. He looks like a cute little Ewok. Go ahead, Billy, you can watch this movie. And then Billy is kind of like scarred for life when Eunice is turned into a talking toadstool.
Right.
But kudos to a first time on screen naked Julia Louis-Dreyfus. You don't get to see much, but hey,
Well,
it's Julia Louis-Dreyfus.
There you go. And the 80s were a different time. Children's movies in the 80s not not cut from the same cloth as children's movies
Not even
today.
a little. Not even close. You know,
But yeah, so that, and I guess Troll was reasonably successful. And
yeah, it has its own cult following.
so Troll 2 tries to attach itself to that by just changing its name from originally it was called Goblins, or right? Goblin?
Mm-hmm. Yep, it was titled Goblins at first.
And the creatures in the movie are goblins. And they're never really called trolls. But
Nope.
I guess our guy, your boy Claudio Fragasso, thought that trolls were maybe more marketable, and so he just changed the name. Didn't do anything else other than that. Just changed the name and then went with it. Now I want to talk a little bit about. There's this moment in the documentary about Troll
Okay.
2 where it's when they first start interviewing the husband-wife team, right? And they
Okay,
interview
yep.
Claudio first, and they ask him what the movie meant to him and everything. And then they talk to Rosella,
Wife.
the wife, second, right? So I listened to Claudio talk, and I wish I had drops for this because it was brilliant. But he says that Troll 2 is a movie about the family unit and the people that are trying to destroy it, right?
All right.
And I'm like, okay, I can kind of get on board with that, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And then when they ask Rosella the same question, and then she's the chick that wrote the movie, right? When they ask her that question, her answer is, it's about vegetarians. And I'm like,
Okay.
Right, like-
So already you've got a difference of vision of this film.
right. And
From
and I think that's a huge disconnect, right? I want to work our way through the plot points here. The movie opens.
Well,
with,
before we begin that, just so you guys know, because it is the first show, we do things. Every show, every podcast that does films, they have their own little rating system, and we do as well. So one things that we're going to be looking at, what we think makes our show a bit different, is that we're both writers. For those who don't know, we both have our own specific writing. We're not getting into our writing in this show. This is strictly about the films. But we are going to be breaking the movies that we talk about apart from a writer's perspective, because writing is what we do. We build characters, we build worlds, we build stories. So that's where we're coming from, and we're gonna have, we have our own little system. Are we gonna do the sobriety chips and the shots, or are we just gonna go with the shots and have?
I think we just go with the shots.
All right,
on
so
this one at least,
shots.
because there are no sobriety chips in sight. For
No,
this
this film has no sobriety chips. So
we're gonna
I'm sure
just,
we'll do films. We'll just go with it.
Yeah, real quick, and we'll get to the ratings in a little bit, but what Brian's kind of alluding to here is that we are basing our ratings of these films on a 1 to 5 shot rating system. 5 shots being worse, right? If it takes more than 1 shot to get through a movie, then you're dealing with something kind of bad. And so we'll reserve our rating for Troll 2 until the end, though. I think maybe you are probably already starting to get a vibe of what it's going to be. I want to get through the major beats of this movie.
Absolutely.
And it opens with the movie opens with this like credit scene where it looks like some sort of like full-grown leprechaun man is running through the forest trying to get away from a lot of people that are wearing the worst Halloween masks I've ever seen. Oh my
God. I swear they got those from Walmart.
Yeah.
And in my notes, because the grandfather, this is almost like they're trying to rip off the Princess Bride with the grandfather telling the grandson a story. And it's like the acting is already terrible, because the kid opens his mouth and, ignore prepubescent dentistry aside. The kid opens his mouth and you can look at his chompers and you can see the train wreck of his chompers and the train wreck of the film.
Yeah, honestly, all you really need to know about this movie is that this husband, wife, director, writer team came over from Italy, landed in Utah, and cast this movie from the locals. And so they're all just like, salt of the earth types with day jobs, making what they thought might turn their life around into, but especially at the time that Troll 2 was made, none of these people were actually established actors, and only a few of them have continued to pursue acting. So,
exactly.
Yeah, it's not a good look.
It's really not. I mean, even what's his name, Michael Stevenson, the star, air quote, of our film, was a child actor at the time, and he thought this was going to be his big break and blah blah blah, and
so it opens with Grandpa telling
Grandpa Seth
telling a story, essentially like a scary story about these goblins that inhabit this town or whatever. And he's essentially trying to warn his grandson of these terrible creatures who are out to eat him. And then we have sort of like the whole movie hinges on this vacation that the family wants to take. We're like trading spaces situation.
It really is, and it's creepy because part of it all, the grandfather's been dead for a time.
Yeah, and we don't know that at first, right? Like we
don't know that at the very, very beginning. We don't know that, but the kid's talking about it and blah blah blah, and then it's decided that because of this recent family tragedy, that they're going to take some time away from the big city and do a house swap with the family from the town.
Yeah, right. And so they pull up to Nilbog, and I don't want to harp too hard. Well, actually, I'm getting ahead of ourselves here because you have the A story, which is the kid. What is his name even?
Joshua.
How can I forget that? You got the kid Joshua, who is dealing with the tragedy of losing Grandpa Seth. And on the other side, you have his older sister,
Holly and her boyfriend.
Holly, who is dating this guy who is way too into his friends.
This guy, and what's bad is this lets you know the times, because flagrant flagrant, I don't know, can this be considered homophobic or just stupid?
Well, it's pretty. I think it is a little homophobic because there's this clip, and I don't know that it's in our first drop, but it's right around this scene. So I've got a drop from the first time we meet Holly and the boyfriend.
Okay.
So I want to go ahead and play that. So just to set it up visually, Holly is working out. She's got like a weight bench in her room, and she's benching about 20 pounds.
She thinks she's Deb from Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Right. Yeah. And the boyfriend climbs up to the window, Dawson's Creek style, and you have sort of like a fake jump scare in there, and then like just amazing dialogue. So this is really good because it's going to give everybody a really, I think, solid example of how great, quote unquote, the acting is here. So this is Holly and the first time we meet her and the boyfriend.
Elliot, what kind of idiotic joke is this? You scared the shit out of me.
I'm the victim of a nocturnal rapture. I have to release my lowest instincts with a woman. Oh!
Release your instincts in the bathroom.
Are you nuts? You trying to turn me into a homo?
Wouldn't it be too hard? If my father discovers you here, he'd cut off your little nuts and eat them. He can't stand you.
And you?
I like you.
Okay, so
God.
the writing.
Jesus.
Okay, so first of all, I love that Rosella Drudy wrote the English line, "He will cut off your little nuts and eat them."
It must translate differently in Italian.
Yeah, I mean,
has
I don't
to.
know. I mean, I feel like the message is pretty clear there, and that is that the
Dad
father
don't
is
like
not a
Elliot.
fan of Elliot.
No, not at all. You know what? If anyone speaks Italian, can you like give us a translation of this? I mean, granted, we could use Google Translator.
Yeah.
But it's more fun to get someone else to do it.
Well, and honestly, like these lines sort of read, some of these lines especially read like someone wrote the script in English and then Google translated it into Italian and then Google translated it back into English.
It's so bad. It's so. And can we just address the elephant in the room that her dad just routinely eats balls?
Well, I mean, it
Like-
seems like that's the implication, right?
Yeah.
That
Arr,
He's going
you better
to-
be careful of that Waits family.
yeah, right.
Father
He's
will
going
eat
to
your
chop off your
balls.
nuts, your little nuts, and
And you-
eat them. And
Oh.
and so this happens right after she like knees him in his own.
She clocks him in his clocks him
Yeah,
in the
and
balls.
he says, "Are you trying to make me a homo?"
Yes, because getting punched in the penis will turn your sexual
Yeah,
orientation.
you know, 1990 was a different time. We didn't understand then all of the things that we know now. Also, a moment for the fact that this movie was made in 1990. Like,
Yeah.
we're
Oh my
essentially
God.
3 years away from Jurassic Park when this movie comes out.
Yeah.
And this looks like a couple of middle schoolers just raided the Walmart like bargain bin after Halloween.
I know,
So-
right? Well, what's even more funny is that this is also the same year we got 90210.
Right.
And it's like, well, how far we've come.
Yeah, there's just like it's really interesting when you start looking at these B movies like this and holding them up to sort of what a lot of people would consider sort of top of the line entertainment from the same year. And
Right.
you're just like, man, how did these people who, you know, Claudio Fragasso has a lot of directorial credits to his name. How does he
really
mess
does.
something up so bad?
Easy. Easy. Here's a paycheck.
Right. Yeah.
I'll
that's-
cash it.
Yeah. So we got a little bit of the soundtrack in that last clip, but I want to play this next clip, and this is from a scene a little bit later on, but it's just the music. And the soundtrack for this movie is unlike any horror film I've ever heard. All of the music sounds a little bit like this. I mean,
about stuff.
Right, and when I say that all of the music sounds kind of like that, I mean all of it. Like even
All of
scenes
it.
where trolls or I guess goblins are chasing people and something scary is supposed to happen. It's just like, oh my god, something scary. And then like Richard Simmons comes in.
Let's sweat!
Like, I'm so surprised that these goblins didn't chase them around in little short shorts and sweatbands. You know?
Oh my god. I'm serious. And they're just coming at them with their leg warmers on their little arms like
Right. Okay. So
oh my god.
Holly decides that she's going to invite
She's gonna
Elliot.
lay down the gauntlet. She's
She
laying
is.
down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Spend some time with me.
Yeah, instead of your friends, he says, I don't even see my friends that much, and then surprised they're with him right then.
They're how they both got up this. Well, I guess they just come up the ladder together. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, maybe Holly has a point.
Yeah, right.
Maybe these three guys are just like, be true to yourselves.
Yeah.
Look at yourselves and say, this is us. This is who we are. Don't judge us. Love us.
Right. You were born this way, right? It's okay.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that.
Right,
We love
exactly. So, yeah, you're right. Holly throws down the gauntlet. Elliot, you can come with us on vacation if you're here on time in the morning and leave your friends at home.
you. And you know, I actually, this part, I actually took notes of this. I did take notes while watching this.
Oh, that's good
And-
because I only took shots.
Oh, okay. You know what? I would have. Instead, I sat in my chair and was just like writhing.
Yeah.
Like, ouch. Now, can I just say that usually if an underage child is going to be going on vacation for an extended period of time,
Uh-huh.
the parents have to talk. They got to coordinate. Even in the 80s, parents wanted to know where their kids were going. Yo, you have to get here. And I think they said in the movie that they're going to be gone for like months, like a month or something.
Yeah, they're going to be gone for a while. Also, Holly
Yeah.
is how old? She's supposed to be like, what, 15?
About 15 or 16.
Uh,
About
and
that age. But
Then
so how can
Elliot,
she invite them?
right, and then Elliot, like Breaking Bad style, just drives an RV.
Yeah, where
Like-
did he get the RV?
Right.
I mean, idiot boyfriend has idiot friends cliche. That's bad enough.
Mm-hmm.
But then it's like, how, like, are they supposed to call the family and be like, oh, hey, by the way, your daughter invited our son to come on vacation for 5 months with you.
Right.
And I guess that's okay.
I mean, is the implication there that these guys are maybe older? Like, are they maybe college age or something? Which we have a whole other set of issues if that's the case. But
Exactly. No, well, then no wonder Holly's dad doesn't like him. I mean, who wants... I don't know.
Right,
There's so much happening that
yeah,
doesn't make any sense.
I have another clip. This is from when they are on their way to Nilbog.
Oh, Jesus.
And Dad,
The family or the family? Oh, the family. Okay.
yeah, the family,
Gotcha.
and Dad and Holly are fighting because Elliot is such a piece of shit. And Mom decides to diffuse the tension by having young Joshua sing a song. So,
Oh, God.
we'll here's another really
Yeah.
riveting clip.
Never liked that kid, I never did.
I'm the one who has to like him, Dad. Me alone.
Stop it, please. Joshua, start singing. Come on, sing that song I like so much.
I don't feel like singing, Mom.
Just sing.
Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Merrily, 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 life is but a dream. Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
That's the song?
Right,
Merrily,
this-
merrily, merrily, merrily.
This is the song that makes Mom happy.
Right, sing
This
that
is the
song I
song.
like. Get out of here, Mom.
I mean, seriously, Mom, if you like row, row, row your boat so much, why don't you just have it on 45?
right?
Like, what the hell?
God, yeah. Pop it in the 8-track in the minivan.
I'm serious. I mean,
Honestly-
I remember telling my kid, sing that song I like. He was singing Let It Go from Frozen. So
you-
it's like, that's different.
Right. Have you seen we've all seen the trailer for Us when they're going to the beach and
Oh, God.
do you think that
I
that's
can't-
like a subtle shout out to Troll 2 where they're like listening to
Well, you know what? Jordan Peele did say that he threw some Corey Feldman and Corey Haim shout outs.
Yeah, do you
So
think that
maybe
I got
there's some
do you think 5 on it is the Us version of Row, Row, Row Your Boat?
I think so because you know what? As a black kid in the mid '90s, it was like every kid knew this. It was like
too bad they didn't.
It was
do
Jump by
5...
Crisscross and this.
Too bad they didn't do I Got 5 on it in rounds like they do Row, Row, Row Your Boat.
I'm serious. I got 5 on. Then you go to the next part. I got 5 on it. Oh my God.
Sing that song I like.
You know something? Yes, sing that song I like. You know something? I have to say this now to give everyone just a little taste of how I feel about this. Claudio Fragasso and Uwe Boll should never be allowed to make. I've always said Uwe Boll should not be allowed to make movies anymore. Throw Claudio Fragasso on that list. Why is this man allowed near a camera?
It makes me want to look up more of his movies.
Of his like hardcore Italian porn films.
I think that's what's going on in some of those other ones.
Either that or like snuff films. It was like
Right.
Instead of the human centipede, it was like the human tarantula, but translated from Italian.
So the family shows up in Nilbog finally, and we're gonna have to start blowing through this thing. Honestly, this is where things start to get a little fuzzy for me.
A little bit weird.
They show up.
Shane was already drunk.
Absolutely. They show up, and the family that they're borrowing the house from has laid out this huge feast for them. And
It's
we notice,
a weird looking feast. Everything is green.
Yeah, everything's
Like,
green.
It's like Kermit the Frog is like a food topping.
Yep, there's green Kool-Aid looking stuff. There's green icing on everything, even the corn on the cob. Also, corn on the cob is sort of the MVP of this movie.
It really is. It really is. But we'll get more to that. But oh my God.
Yeah.
So we're getting the idea. So they don't. They hammer home in a little bit the disdain for meat.
Yeah.
However, green butter.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So this green goo. Here's the first, I guess, real appearance of the green goo, or the gack, or the Nickelodeon slime, or whatever you want to call it. And Grandpa. So the family's about to eat, and Grandpa Seth shows up again and warns Joshua. Joshua, don't let your family eat this because. This is bad. Like, this is where the goblins are going to get you.
This is bad for you.
And so then Joshua
Remember that story.
Joshua pulls this Zach Morris time freeze.
I put that in my notes as well. How the hell is he all of a sudden Zach Morris?
Right.
Time out.
Yeah, the family freezes for like a full minute. While he's
You
trying
can
to
still
figure
see them moving. They're
Right.
still moving
Yeah.
while they're trying not to move.
Yeah, and while he's trying to figure out what to do, and of course, as a young child of 7, the only thing he knows to do to keep his family from eating this food that will turn them into plants is to whip it out and pee on it. And it gives us maybe the best line in the movie that I don't have as a drop, and I wish I did. When his father scoops him up and takes him upstairs, and he starts messing with his belt, and you think he's about to beat the kid, and he's like, "No, I'm just tightening my belt one more loop to keep the hunger pains off." And he goes, "Right," and he's like, "You don't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it."
Hey, what's funny is that line is forever burned in our minds because not only did we watch this movie, but in the documentary when George Hardy, who plays the father, George Hardy DDS, Dr. George Hardy, plays the father, and he actually yells at him, "You read that? You read that? You know what that is? It's hospitality. You don't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it."
Yes, absolutely. You don't piss on hospitality. I won't allow it is kind of the Lisa, you're tearing me apart of this movie.
Yeah.
Like that. So
all I could do is laugh.
Yeah, it's very good. Now, across town, I guess, the boys have shown up in the RV. That's Elliot and company.
Yeah.
And they're
where
here,
they got an RV? Hey, plot.
Right. But they're also, it seems that Elliot convinced the other guys to come along because there are going to be a bunch of hot college chicks in this town, in Nilbog.
Yeah, because, hey, all the hot chicks go to Nilbog. Okay?
Right. I mean, Nilbog is a big spring break destination. I remember 1999 MTV Spring Break Nilbog. Carmen Electra just covered in green goo.
Oh man, that was so hot.
Yeah.
The Backstreet Boys are doing a performance in Town Square.
Yes, exactly.
Oh God.
And so this kid, Darren, is the actor, right?
Yeah, hold on. Let me pull it up here. Drew was the one that went to who was the guy before him? Arnold goes out to he's going out just to look around because he doesn't want to deal with the sausage fest that's
Right.
Drew and Elliot.
Yeah.
And he sees some chick just running in the woods.
Yeah. Drew and Elliot, it should be noted, are hanging out in the RV just crushing cereal. Like,
Yeah, that's literally all they're doing is just killing some cereal.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's like,
Yeah,
nothing else. No one thought to bring food.
Yeah, so Arnold heads
Just-
out, sees this chick running around, and she seems to be in like some old-timey garb too.
Yeah, she's really in distress, and he's like, "Hey, stop, I say!"
Yeah.
It's like, huh?
This
Who
kid,
talks like
honestly,
that?
I said that Corn on the Cob is the MVP, but this kid is really the MVP.
Oh, he's honestly, Kevin Durant actually enshrined him as the real MVP.
Yeah, absolutely.
He really did.
Yeah, 100%. And so he goes and he tries to help this girl, and they're both sort of like already
They're cornered by.
Yeah,
Well, she's already starting to display some of the gack spill.
yeah, a little bit. Yeah, it's like those old, like I guess they were like the 2000, like circa Gatorade commercial, circa 2008, where the commercial was in black and white, and you could
Yeah.
see the glowing sweat.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like. That good reference by you. That was good. That was really good.
And so yeah, right. And so she already sort of shows that, but he helps her out. They're clearly running from some trolls or goblins, whatever.
Goblins.
And they come across this like weird, I guess, church-looking building.
Well,
in the middle of the
before they
forest.
get to that, before they get there though, some goblin throws a staff, a la Lamar from the Revenge of the Nerds.
That's right.
And when it hits Arnold, it's obviously he has caught it and held it to where it stabs him.
Yes.
Oh my God! Ow!
That's
and
so
then they
good.
take off running to this weird church.
Yeah, this weird church where they meet Credence, who is I guess
that was
Credence
her
is
name?
technically
That was her name?
Yeah, Credence.
Okay.
Is I guess technically the antagonist of the film because she's kind of like the ringleader, right?
She's the main baddie. I've referred to her off air as Cold Sword Lady.
Yeah, Cold Sword Lady. Yeah. Let's get a little bit of the first time they meet Credence.
Allow me to introduce myself. I am Credence Leonor Gielgud of ancient Druid origins. My ancestors came from Stonehenge.
Oh my God!
Right. So,
Oh God!
Am I
Stonehenge!
mistaken, or is there something wrong with the two of you?
I got stuck with a stick.
right,
bitch.
yeah. So, yeah, so
Wait,
there-
this is Stonehenge is a thing, not a place, right?
yeah, well, first of all, she is of ancient Druid origins. And
Oh, of course, because all those ancient druids say that.
yes, and she is from Stonehenge.
So she was born on a Stonehenge rock because her mom was like, crap, I'm getting ready to push out this pup.
Yeah.
Hey, getting on top of this big rock seems like a good idea.
And I think that there's this weird smoking rock in the room, and I think that's
Yeah.
maybe from
Yeah.
Stonehenge too. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
This is where
I'm
things
glad
get
she was
real
able to get
murky.
that through customs.
This is where things get a little murky for me. Like this is
Can we just say though too at this point, Arnold screamed pretty loud when he got stabbed with a stick.
yeah.
And no one came to help him.
Yeah,
His buddies are just down the street. I'm sorry, the road.
Yeah, it doesn't seem that he had run that far really.
I know, it's weird.
And
But and it's just like, hey, sorry. Once you leave the confines of the RV, you're on your own. pal.
Yeah. And so okay, so
we
then
meet
this is the
Cretans.
scene where honestly this might be you're tearing me apart
most-
of the movie.
This is the most. Even if you go on, and I gotta give shout out to WatchMojo.com on YouTube, where they actually had the best worst lines of a bad movie, and I believe this was in the top 5.
Yeah,
we're getting ready right here.
Yeah, I think this is our last drop. So from here we'll just go to the end. But yeah, this is some classic stuff. So so Credence offers the two some liquid to drink because they're thirsty, and this is the green goo. And so our boy Arnold starts turning into a tree, looking like Groot over there, and then our mystery woman runs upstairs and just turns into like a giant puddle of slime.
Goop.
And then the goblins just roll out of the closet and just start slurping her up. So
you're coming out the closet.
Yep, here you go.
The music.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!
Oh man, that is honestly.
He made me watch.
If nothing else, at least this movie gives us that moment, you know.
Well, how does he know that they're gonna eat him? I mean, dude, maybe they just want her. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's not all about you, Arnie.
Can we talk about how the slime turns her into a puddle and turns him into a tree?
I really want to know. So, like, do the guys, like, because they have, like, you know, the Johnson turn into a tree?
I was wondering if this was like a subtle wood joke, like a phallic versus yonic symbol thing, because like she is a puddle of liquid and he is a tree. Like
tree
is
no. No. What it is, Credence went and got the Don Cheadle version of Captain Planet.
Right there, you go.
And Don Cheadle was just like, you know what? It's time to become a fucking tree.
You know,
boom.
Sigmund Freud would have a heyday with this movie.
Oh my God!
For
and then
sure.
some.
Okay, so
and then, well, why would that girl, if she's already scared, why would you take anything that anyone from this town gives you? It's like she just accepts, like she just accepts everything. And this chick is obviously this woman is obviously creepy. And Arnold's just like, I've been stabbed with a stick. Let's ignore the fact that I'm losing blood, and let's just drink what the nice creepy lady gives me.
Yeah, and honestly, we can sort of breeze through the second act of this thing pretty quick because
I'd like to, because that's when it starts to hurt a lot.
After Arnold is turned into a tree, and by the way, is not eaten. Did you notice?
No, he just turns into a tree.
Yeah,
he's potted. He's actually planted into a pot.
Yeah, right. He is. Yes,
he's planted.
Yeah. Well, you can't have those roots ruining the hardwood floor in that old church.
Yeah, you know that's right. I mean, there's no way she's going to get her security deposit back.
No,
I mean,
not after all of that. No.
I'm trying to worship. I'm tripping over roots over here.
Yeah, exactly. So,
now Drew decides the next day. It's next day, and Drew's like, dude, there's no. After Drew and Elliot wake up topless together
in the same bed.
Drew decides. Yeah, like, in the same bed. Cuddled closely. He's like, I'm hungry. Let's put on my tight pink shorts and my overly 80s yellow shirt and go jogging for food.
But not only that, he goes jogging for milk. Because again, remember, these two dudes are just crushing cereal. Like, that is all they want. And then he goes to the general store, where the creepy general store guy's like, there ain't no milk in Nilbog.
Ain't none of that in Nilbog. Hey, can I get some eggs? Drink? No eggs in Nilbog. What about coffee? That's the devil's drink in Nilbog.
Right.
Meanwhile, I feel bad. That poor guy was really in a mental hospital, and they let him out to film his scenes.
Yeah, that dude's interview in the documentary was kind of wild. He was like, I didn't remember too much about it. I remember there being this little kid there, and I hated him, and I wanted to kill him.
And I was gonna make him eat that ice cream. Like,
right?
Whoa!
Yeah,
and bro.
And so essentially, what happens in the second act is just general weirdness, right? The family doesn't want to believe Joshua. That the town is weird, even though Joshua continues to talk to Grandpa Seth, and he continues to witness sort of weird, increasingly weird things, including this.
Like the people having church in a basement, and the family whose house they're renting is still there.
Right, yeah. And then they have this big party at the house, and that's where things kind of take a turn for the family.
Yeah, but of course, Drew he runs into Arnold.
Yeah.
And, oh God, it's like, it's so bad. It's so bad.
So,
like, I started to block it out of my memory again.
Yeah, we're going to have to go ahead and hit some of the ending stuff here.
Yeah, we have to.
Getting up against the buzzer. Honestly, so I'll go ahead and give my shot rating for this.
Okay.
Here's what I remember from the end of Troll 2. So like the last 30 minutes or so. I remember there being like a little shindig at the house. And
then, they're all partying and blah, blah, blah.
And then I think that Grandpa Seth set someone on fire.
Yeah, they throw the Molotov cocktail.
Right.
Because now Grandpa Seth can interact with the real world now.
Right, he's not just a ghost now. He can make ghost Molotov cocktails that really catch people on fire.
Yeah. Oh, and this also, before that though, of course, Joshua sees the town of Nilbog in a mirror. Nilbog is goblin spelled backwards. Oh yeah. No shit, Josh.
And that, that's really the clincher for the whole thing, and Credence disguises herself as like this young hot to trot chick,
and she looks really hot. Her little dance steps are terrible.
Yeah, she looks good.
She looks freaking hot.
And she makes out with is it Elliot? No, it's another guy, right?
Yeah, it's some other dude.
Yeah,
I guess it's some other buddy.
Yeah, so she makes out with this other guy, and it gets so hot and heavy that she pops corn like just with the heat of the makeout session.
Yeah, I mean, that was like the best part. That was the best part of the whole movie for me.
Yeah, and so, like I said, like the end of it's kind of spotty. They have this seance, I think, and
to bring Grandpa back, and somehow it transports Joshua from home to the church where the Stonehenge rock is.
Oh God, yeah, they do end up all over there, don't they?
Yeah, it's just like, now you're here, now you're not.
Yeah, so I decided, Brian, that while we were watching these movies, I'll base my shot rating on how many shots it took me to literally get through the movie.
Okay.
And so I think, so I've watched this movie 3 times in my life.
Okay.
And I still don't know what happens at the end. I mean, I do know how it ends because they do go back home and they think that they're safe and everything, and they're not. I don't want to ruin it. No spoilers
here's the thing.
here, but
yeah, no. Oh, okay. Oh, we're not going to spoil it. If you want to watch this for yourself, it is on Amazon Prime right now. If you do have an Amazon Prime account,
yeah, I would
Amazon
recommend
Prime
it.
Video.
So I don't think we should get into the last little bit too much.
All right, we're not going. All I will say is this: it's the last 10 minutes are just. We're number one. Now, keep in mind, I'm talking about a movie called Troll 2 with goblins in it. The last 10 minutes has no realism whatsoever. And that's saying something, to considering the fact that I've spent 90 minutes watching a movie about goblins with the title Troll. Okay? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
The end of it's a fever dream. So for me, it's easily 5 shots, if not 6, just to get through it. So like in the first episode, we're already breaking the rules that we set out ourselves.
Yeah. I see your 5 shots, and I will take you one better. I need 5 shots of Nilbog juice, or 5 shots during, and then 5 Nilbog shots after. Make me the super tree, okay? Make me the mighty sequoia.
Well, the problem,
I need 15 shots of Nilbog juice.
The problem with doing all of that Nilbog juice is because then you'll be turned into a tree and you will never be able to leave the room that you're in, and you'll be forced to watch the Troll 2 DVD menu over and over and over again.
Oh.
Was this movie ever released on DVD? I don't know. I don't think.
Yes,
I know it was on VHS.
I believe it. Yeah, it was. I believe it has to have had a DVD release to be on Prime for it to have a digital. Don't know that was my cat knocking something over. See, my cat hates the movie so much. We're talking about it, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck that."
Yeah. Well,
yeah, that's you know what you're at. You know what though? If I'm watching it on Amazon Prime, it should skip to like just something else, or I'll just live in silence.
Yeah.
Because after a while, I'll become one with my treeness.
Yeah. There you go.
It's so bad. It's so bad. But if you, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say like it is absolutely at the low end of tolerable, but
abysmal.
At the same time, and we probably just need to do one whole episode about like the appeal of B movies in general, and not even talk about a movie.
I think that's a good idea. You know what? I think that's something where as we start gaining more traction and we get more time, we allow ourselves some more time. We can do that. Because I think that the appeal of B movies, especially in this time period, in the, let's say, 1984 to 1999, 2000, it was a great time for B movies. I mean, B movies weren't the same after say, 2002.
Well, and the exception that proves the rule there obviously would be The Room, which came out in 2005. But what I'll say about that is that before we all started to rediscover these movies and find this new kind of ironic appreciation for them, the movies were being made earnestly. The what makes that such a great time for B movies is that the people making them were sincere. Like they weren't making them tongue in cheek. They were just trying to make the best damn movie that they could, and it was just so bad. And that's what makes it so good.
Exactly. It's just like you look at some of those films from the Golan and Golbus. Am I saying it right? Hold on. I'll be able to give you a good one just there. Looking up the movie Breakin'. The what the hell is the name of it? Canon Films.
Okay.
Like Canon Films, MGM, the MGM Canon Films, and Golan and Globus, that production company. I mean, they made some amazing B movies.
Yeah.
Breakin' is one of them. Breakin' and Breakin' 2. I mean, Breakin' is the first time that we see Jean-Claude Van Damme on film. And it's so bad, but so good. The Canon Film Group was so great because they made bad movies, but they just have that general appeal.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know. We can't get into it this week. We are up against it. And honestly, man, I wish we could have had even a little bit more time to talk about Troll 2. We're going to have to budget our time a little bit better.
You know what, though? At the end of the day, if we go... Because we're probably, guys, because Shane and I talked about this, how we want to do it. We want to have it the best possible. And honestly, if we go a little bit over, it's not going to be the end of the world because we're going to do about 2 of these a month.
Yeah, for now.
So, yeah, for now, until we, get a little bit more of traction and blah, blah, blah. But if we go a little bit over in these early days, I'm not really concerned with it.
Yeah.
But, Troll 2, getting back to that, it's
a 5-shot movie, but...
It really is. But if you're sitting around with your buddies, you really do, because I pride myself on being a movie guy. I pride myself, good movies, bad movies, whatever. I pride myself on that. And you have to watch Troll 2. If you're a movie person, you must, because it is the best, worst movie ever. It earned its 100 on IMDb, but everything's bad with it. It's the appeal. You like the ridiculous.
Yeah.
You laugh at the cheesy.
You were about to say something that I think is incredibly important, is the movies like this are really best appreciated in a group.
Yes.
If you have a group of people with you, then this is exactly the kind of thing you want to back up and, whatever, however many drinks it takes you to get through it, but do it together, right? Like, this is a communal thing. It will drive you crazy if you're by yourself. But
oh my God, it hurts by yourself.
But
my fiance doesn't watch horror movies or anything that's remotely close to a horror movie. So I can't have fun with this movie with her. I mean, I can, but it's not the same as if, say, Shane, myself, Ed Souter, and Josh Robertson just sat together in a living room with beers and we're watching it.
Absolutely.
You've got to have other people with you. For that Friday night, the week has been shit. You and your buddies get together like you do every Friday for pizza and a couple of beers. This is the film to put in.
Yeah, man. Take a trip to Nilbog with your boys and just crush some cereal in the RV, And just...
Yeah, and wake up the next morning naked to get
maybe not.
If that's maybe not, unless that's your thing, and then we still love you.
Right, absolutely.
It doesn't matter.
Absolutely.
But at the end of the day,
yourself and your RV companions.
Yeah, exactly. But at the end of the day, in this flagship episode of the Plotaholics podcast, Shane and I are unanimously decided Troll 2, 5 shots. It takes us 5 shots plus to get through this. Alcohol poisoning and tree turning shots. Yes. 5 of them to get through this.
And we will see you guys, or I guess we'll talk at you guys.
You'll hear us.
Yeah, we'll talk at you again real soon. For the Plotaholics, I'm Shane Wilson.
And I'm Bryan Tann.
We'll see you soon.
They're eating her. And then they're going to eat me. Oh my God!